Today, I'm going to show you how I research stocks. So let's go look for great companies at great prices. Guys, what is finding a good stock? Well, finding a good stock, we want to find a stock where price is below value. What does that mean? Well, we want to value the business and we want to look at the price that the market is dictating. We don't let price determine if we like a stock or not. We don't want to see a stock go like this and us feel like that's a good company. That's completely could be from emotion. Just like if we see a stock go like this, you don't want to sit there and say it's a bad company. Is it possible? Of course. But at the end of the day, my job is to not care what Mr. Market says. My job is to value the company independently and then compare it to the price and decide if I'm a buyer of the company or not. Now, my personal opinion is I want to find great companies at great prices. Now, you've always heard Warren Buffett say it's better to buy a great business at a fair price than a fair business at a great price. I don't necessarily disagree, but to me, finding a great business at a great price is very possible. However, you got to realize that doesn't mean you're going to make 20% returns. The bigger and greater the business, the harder it'll be to get outsized returns. But guess what? I'm okay with that. You want to know why? Because I have this great tool in our software called Retirement Calculator. I put in all my data here to see how much money do I need to hit my goals. And when I realized it was a lot less return and a lot less extra money, I could sit there and say, I'm going to be a little bit more patient. For me personally, I can sit there and get lower returns, but buy companies that I like at the right price. I can sit there, instead of trying to get 15% returns on an investment, I can get 10 to 12 and be okay with that. That would be where great companies come in at great prices. It's going to be very hard to find Microsofts and Apples and Googles at these kind of returns unless the market overall falls big time. Those opportunities happen once every 10 or 15 years. But you have to be ready for those opportunities. That's why we created this channel. We want to teach that process. And that's why I'm showing you how I look for stocks. Because when you understand what stocks you're looking for and why, when prices get irrationally low, you're able to jump on it. So my overall goal is to beat the market. By how much? I don't care. Even if I match the market, buying great companies at great prices, I'm a happy guy. But the key then is to make sure the companies take the capital that's in their businesses and does the right thing with them. That involves a high return on invested capital. And one of the things they can do is buy back inexpensive shares. And more on that after we go through this. So how do I screen? Well, I go here to our 8-pillar search. And there's a lot of different options here I can do based on our 8 pillars. I can click on, I want a PE less than 25. I want net income growth. I want shares outstanding to be lower. And I want debt levels to be high. I hit go, and look, it gives me all the companies that apply to this. All the companies that apply. Look at how many companies there are. And I can sit there and do that and go research. I can go a step further then. I can then go to the pillar screener. What this allows me to do is make specific metrics on my own. I can pick a popular metric like market cap. I want to be greater than $10 billion. Okay. I want a 10-year PE less than 25. Actually, let's go, 25. And I want a 10-year ROIC greater than 12%. Okay. Hit search and it pops up all my companies that apply. This is such an easy way to start screening. Right here is one of the companies I own, 3M. Again, don't own a company just because I do, but these are all the companies I can then go sit there and say, okay, these have all the metrics that I fundamentally want. Let me go sift through them and see which qualitative and other quantitative things I like about them. That's why this whole tool is so useful. It allows me to sit there and do anything I want. If I want to change something, add it in here like 5-year cash flow greater than $1 billion. It'll make it less companies because they're bigger companies. These are the things I like about this. It saves me a lot of time. I have to sit there and pull through 10Ks and all that stuff, guys. I know it sounds sexy to fall in love with a company. Don't fall in love with the company. Fall in love with the numbers first and then sift out the crappy companies that have all the aspects you don't like. If you find yourself falling in love with the story, you will ignore the values, and that's a problem. Warren Buffett always says he spends 95% of his time on the quality and the story. But what people don't realize is that 5% is what he starts with. Does it even fit within the realm of metrics that make sense to me? Once he's gotten rid of all the companies that don't fit the metrics, he saved himself a lot of time. Now he can focus on the 5%. He can focus on the ones that matter by looking at the qualitative aspects. The biggest thing about these tools, guys, is it saves me an F-load of time. This thing right here saves me so much time for having to go company by company by company. I can just sit there and say, listen, what matters to me is a good balance sheet and a growing company. Boom. I do revenue growth and I do a balance sheet. Boom, it gives me the list. Then I sit there and say, well, wait a second. I don't want a company that's selling for 100 times earnings or 100 times free cash flow. I put that in right here and it sieves those all out. This is used to save time. Your time is valuable. And not only that, the more time you save, the less you're going to fall in love with the company and basically convince yourself to buy it. That's the last thing you want to do. And these tools allow you to avoid that mistake. Now, once I've found a company, let's go to Cisco Systems. I might have some questions about it. So first off, you know what I'll do? I'll go in the community chat and just start talking to people about it. Hey, what are you thinking about this company? I can search in here and say, where have people looked at Cisco? I look in the general chat and here are all the things having to do with Cisco and how you can find them. You can click right to it. Because remember, the community is here for that reason. Save us time. Save you time. Go spend time with your family. Go spend your time on hobbies. If investing is your hobby, even better. There are thousands of people in here to talk to about your investment ideas. Let them poke holes. Because if they poke holes, doesn't mean your investment idea is bad. It can also let you uncover more information that makes you understand the company better. And let's say you're on Cisco. Your next step, if you want to read the annual report. For me personally, I don't read the annual reports thoroughly on large companies. On small companies, absolutely I do. And you read multiple ones. But on large companies, we make it easy anyhow. Goes right to the link for Cisco Systems 10K. You can look at the 10K here or the last quarterly filing. It pulls it right up and you can start reading. Again, saves you time. So a few things I search for. If it's a retail business, what are same-store sales growth? If it's management team, in any company, show me what the management team owns. How much do they own of the company? What are their KPIs, their key metrics that make them go, hey, this is what we look for success? How do they define their success for the future? Make sure they're aligned with you as an investor. If they're just there to try to get stock options by hitting useless goals, that's not the company for you. But if they're aligned with you the right way, that's going to help them make better decisions for themselves, which means better decisions for you when they have a lot of their money invested in the business. And any company you look at, they're going to explain very early on what their business is. What is their business? They're going to tell you exactly what they do, how they make money. You're going to be able to understand all this. The 10K is going to give very thorough understanding of the financial statements, including footnotes. When I was doing Southwest Airlines a few years ago, I loved it because I read the 10K and I saw that they'd lost $830 million off of the 737 MAX issues. That they still made $2.2 billion that year. That showed me by reading the 10K that there was still a lot more profit potential that they didn't get that year because of a one-time short-term problem. Another major part, not only in the community, but also in the 10K, understand what management's future plans are. Are they going to spread themselves too thin? Are they just trying to grow just to grow, or are they trying to grow smart? What's their plans for buybacks? What's their plans for dividends? Don't just fall in love with buybacks and dividends. Make sure it's done at the right time. Buybacks especially have to be shares bought back at cheap prices. That's how they add value. Dividends should not be paid just to entice people to buy the stock. Dividends should be paid because they have no other good use of the cash, and buying back the shares would not be good at those values. Don't buy into the whole, I'm a dividend investor. It doesn't work that way. It's not a free ticket. It's not a free lunch. Now, once I've liked a company, let's sit there and look at Cisco here. I'm gonna go to my stock analyzer tool. Remember, every investment is the present value of all future cash flows. What this tool does, it excludes the balance sheet. What this does, it allows us to make assumptions about the future, revenue growth, profit margin, free cash flow margin, future PE and price of free cash flow, and finally, what your desired return is. You put it in here and it tells you based on these assumptions, what price you should pay for the company. So let's pull up Cisco. I'm sure I did Cisco in the past. The stock analyzer tool keeps all my history. I did it about a month ago. And these were my assumptions. What I like here, first off, is a growing return on invested capital. This means as time goes on, they're getting better and better managers of their cash. They're getting better and better returns on the money invested in the business. I did revenue growth of 2%, 3%, and 4% over the next 10 years. Now remember, you can do up to 20 years here. Profit margin. I did 20, 22, and 24. Free cash flow. If you look here, free cash flow is much higher than profit margin. I love that. That's a rare find in business. We want that. I did 28, 30, and 32. And for PE, I did 13.5, 15.5, 17.5, and the same thing with free cash flow. Now for my desired return, this is basically my margin of safety. What return do I want on the money that I put out there? This includes any dividends paid, by the way. So for 10 years, I'm looking for 11% return, because why? It's lower assumptions. That should be easy to hit. I should be okay with the low return. But as my assumptions get bigger, I want a higher return because it's less likely to happen. All right? I hit the analyze button, and look what it does for me. It shows me the price I need to pay. So low side, 34 to 47, high side, 44 to 58, middle, 38 to 52. So in some metrics, it's actually a decent buy. But here's the cool thing, guys. If you bought it at today's price and the low assumptions occur, this is the return you're going to make, about 10% with dividend. If the middle assumptions occur, you're going to make about 13%. High assumptions occur, 16%. And this is based on your free cash flow. So that's why this tool is so useful. It allows you to actually say, what return am I getting if I buy this business at the current price and the fresh cash flows are X, Y, and Z? That's what's so great about this tool. It actually puts into your understanding, instead of saying this company's a good buy at 50, is it really a good buy at 50, or should you be more patient and wait for 45? Those are the questions that this tool does a great job answering. And again, not only does it save you time and increase your returns, it reduces your stress. Because as the stock goes down, you can sit there and say, no, my assumptions are still the same. I'm just going to buy more. Instead of being that person who goes, oh my God, my stock is down, you're going to be like us, who cheers on lower prices. That's what we should all want. If you want that mentality, this is what this software can do for you. You'll be cheering with us in this community, because every time the market is down, there are yippies and loves it, and this is great. Don't you want that mentality? I want you to have that mentality like I do, like everybody else in this community does. So, guys, join me in the community. We're offering a free 7-day full access trial. Come use all of these tools, all of these things, get engaged in the community for free for 7 days. Just go to everythingmoney.com, check it out.